Oh, you nearly caught us on the hop this morning. We are raring to go. It's Guineas weekend, everyone. Welcome back to the Morning Post. Brought to you by Racing Post. We're in the HQ summer in the capital and sponsored by William Hill. Great morning out there to be alive on planet Earth if you're a racing fan, isn't it? Absolutely everywhere. It's more matter of the Kentucky Derby later as well. Punchestown's been roaring. Oh, absolute bloodbath that's been for punters so far. It had to happen, didn't it? We'll get a word about that going on. If you want a word on the show, like and subscribe. Thumbs up, that's all you've got to do on YouTube. You can have your say. Interactive show that this is. For the next hour or so, we'll be going through. We've got a whopping guest for you as well, and a whopping interview, I can tell you that much. We'll be putting our pipe and slippers on while Paul Keeley talks. Yes, Paul Keeley talks to Aidan O'Brien. The master trainer will be coming on the show to tell us not just about this weekend, but Chester next week and Royal Ascot beyond. Unmissable stuff. Right, Dave Orton joined by this morning. Charlie Poste back on the show. You're everywhere, aren't you?
Try to be, yeah. I mean, you actually offered me a lift in this morning, but I declined.
I thought I might get some guineas off you or something like that. I wasn't sure.
No, I'd tell you what you thought you might get. You thought you might get a lift off me. That's why I didn't come.
That'd be why, absolutely. Well, you could have driven the Raspberry in, couldn't you? Do you know what I mean? You could have done me a favour. You got on the train though. It's been good little period for you. You've been seeing a lot of Newmarket, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been down there quite a bit. Yeah, more often than in recent years. So yeah, it's turning out to be one of my favourite places actually.
All right, okay, well, more of that. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about out there. He's unsufferably everywhere. Tom Segal is in, and we're doing the double header because we're back tomorrow. Tom, you must be thrilled about that.
I can't wait for tomorrow, Dave. 6 o'clock train. Really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. This is, Tom, a lot of people say it, and a lot of viewers out there will think this as well. Is this the start of the flat season?
I was saying to someone the other day, the 2000 Guineas is my favourite. And over jumps, my favourite race is the Old Hennessy. The 2000 Guineas is my favourite race on the flat because it ties together all that you were thought. You know, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I'm thinking about flat horses over the winter when it's all rained off and stuff on the jump. So I love the sort of bringing it all together, the 2-year-old form, the knowing who's a superstar. And I think that's the same with the Old Hennessy when you go to, the novices run against the established chasers. So it's just sort of, I love it. I love the 2000 Guineas. I think it's the best race of the year, so I'm really excited about it.
I can see what I've asked you about tomorrow because you said the Old Hennessy twice, which at William Hill headquarters gets a big
there?
Ding ding.
They love it.
They absolutely love it. Talking about loving it, this is your first show in person with Tom Segal, Robbie Wilders.
Quite an amazing stat. I mean, this is only, I think, the third time I've met Tom in person. I think we shook hands briefly, 6 months ago, then a few years ago. But now I'm right next to the gentleman, and he is taller than I thought he was, to be fair.
From a tall chap yourself, and quite brilliantly, Tom was treating him as staff when he walked in, wasn't he? He was like, "Can you turn up my microphone?" All that sort of stuff. You thought he was one of the producers.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get him to settle in. He don't come in here often, does he? So.
Are you raring to go?
Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. As I told you, sort of in the green room earlier, I had my bite nipped the other day, so it was really gutting. Some fella came in, and I assume it was a fella because. Fellas are worse than women, aren't they, essentially? But cut through me lock. I had it locked on a lamppost, and I come out the gym, and I was just shocked to see that my journey home was gone. So that's 300 quid down the drain, isn't it?
Back on the Boris bikes for Robbie Wilders.
Boris, yeah. I mean, it's still all right, but you can't get as much speed on them, can you? So.
Well, get ready to speed up with your tips, okay? Because we have got a whopping Aidan O'Brien interview coming for you. That's what I mean. Let's go to William Hill, shall we? And open up the trading floor. And he's back again. It's J-Mac. The punters will be waiting for you to come on, Jay. Huge weekend, of course. Everyone now honing. A massive week, I suppose, as well. We'll talk about Punchestown imminently. But are we ready for City of Troy?
We are, Dave. Yeah, it definitely does feel like the start of the flat season. Like it's been a bit stop-start this year with a few abandonments and bad ground. It looks as though the ground's not going to be an excuse for anyone today. So, yep, looking forward to it getting going.
Right, before we go to Ireland and bring in our superstar guest there, shall we go for the boost? Now, commiserations, Jay. We had a winning boost last week, a pair of pass. And I think you're absolutely quaking in your boots as a result because City of Troy, he's not this week's lay, is he?
He's not quite brave enough to go with City of Troy, although we do have an offer around the winning distance. We're enhancing over 2 lengths from 15 to 8 to 11 to 4. But the boost is Beautiful Diamond in the preceding race in the Palace House. We're going 7 to 2, boosting her price too in the race before the big one.
And that is now live for you. So if you get on the William Hill website or your app, wherever you're playing it, live now. Cole Burke's potential superstar filly in the sprint. We'll be talking about that with the panel, which includes this week, I'm delighted to say, Deputy Irish Editor. Yes, he's there. I hope he's there. He is. DJ looking resplendent as ever. Where are you off to today? Probably, I don't know. What's on in Ireland today? Punchestown.
Yeah, I feel like I've spent the last about 5 years in Punchestown. Yeah, Punchestown again today. I was intrigued by Robbie's story there about his bike getting stolen when he went to the gym. You know what the lesson is there, Robbie?
Please.
Don't go to the gym.
Oh, that's not gonna solve your problems, Dave.
Dave, you're in good company here, mate.
I was going to say, Dave doesn't only look like he's been to Punchestown for 5. It sounds like he's been to Punchestown for 5 days.
Has it been a struggle, DJ? Has it been a struggle? We've all. I wanted to get a word with you about this, DJ, before we move on to Guineas weekend. I think everyone would like to hear about this. We had winning Punters Festival at Cheltenham, winning Punters Festival at Aintree. It had to happen at Punchestown, didn't it? Bloodbath.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, Dave, because a lot of the shorties are exceptionally short. Do you know what I mean? They're like the Ballyburns, the Statemans. They're unbackable, so a lot of punters can't back them. And then the ones that are, you know, in around evens and maybe a little bit of juice on the bone, like they've been beaten. Like, do you know what I mean? You even see Spindleberry the other day was disappointing. And what's a very, very rare trend at Punchestown this week is Willie Mullins' bumper horses are not running well at all. Like we saw yesterday in the bumper, a horse that finished 5th in the champion bumper at Cheltenham basically pulled up in the bumper yesterday. It's been a strange week for Willie Mullins. Like I interviewed him after Stateman won the champion hurdle, and he said he was really worried going into the race because Mr. Policeman had ran a shocker. Allegory Devassi had done her new party trick and just went out like a light. So It's been an unusual race, an unusual week for Willie Mullins. It's usually his playground, Punchestown, but not quite this week.
Yeah, it's been weird, isn't it? Because he won the first grade one. Of course, we should concentrate on the positives just quickly, DJ. Now the winning most trainer of all time in Ireland.
Yeah, what can you say? Look, you're trying to think of new things to write about him every day. And today I'm going to Punchestown. I'm going to have to write new things about him because he's obviously going to smash the record even further. Incredible trainer, incredible ambassador for the sport. Yes, we point to the domination and wonder whether it's good for the sport or whether it's bad. But you know, he can't do anything about that. He's got the owners. He's got the ammunition. He's doing everything he can do, and what an incredible season it's been. I suppose the big story today at obviously Punchestown is the Jockeys Championship. Jack Kennedy goes into the last day with a 4-winner lead over Paul Townend, and you just wonder that novice hurdle late in the day last night. Another way, I presume he traded extremely short and running, kind of was 2.5 lengths, maybe 3 lengths clear coming down to the last. Just didn't get away from it that quickly. That would have brought him back to 3, which would have made it interesting. But it does look like Jack Kennedy is going to win his first title today.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw 10s on at one point. I think it was Thursday night. So good luck to the two of them going in locking horns. That's all to come later on then. If there's a punting god, and I'm not sure there is after this week, Carl surely wins there for Mullins, doesn't it? Jay, let's have a word from you. You had to have a winning festival at some point, didn't you?
We did, yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd rather have a good Cheltenham and a bad Punchestown, but we can't be too greedy. We've got a few of the short ones, beating Dino Blue, Galloping de Champs, Jasmine Deveau, Gaelic Warrior. So we've got enough of them beat to have a good week.
I mean, it's been that good a week for him. He didn't even have to look at his notes there, did he? He was like, Jasmine Deveau, Galloping de Champs. You've been watching?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
You got the horse that's having a 100th run in bumpers over the line, didn't you?
Sam Wah killed me, though. Oh, in front, before, after, everywhere but the line.
Okay,
that killed me, but there we go.
Never mind the one that went in. Yeah, all right, okay. All right, that's Punchestown, still one day to go. And it's all about the flat now, isn't it? Here's what's coming up then for the next hour or so. Stick with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch this stream. Share it all over the place. Let's spread the word in the Morning Post. And if you're buying your Racing Post this morning or Members Club, this is what you'd be getting. Let's entice you in, shall we? And show you the front page on this Guineas weekend. Of course, maybe a bit of Kentucky Derby chat as well. Get your naps in for us. Right, let's get these up on the screen. I can see it in front of me. Here we are. Is he the new wonder horse? That is, of course, City of Troy. Best ever 2-year-old at Ballydoyle? We'll have a word with the panel, dubbed Our Frankel by his Cornwall connections. That was, of course, after the Dewhurst win at Newmarket last October. There he is as well. Who's on page 2? Yes, it is frontrunner Chris Cook. Ghosts of beaten hot pots in the air as wraps come off vaunted City of Troy. We'll get a word with J-Mac about what he's trading at the moment. Smart View card. This is a feature we've been pushing rightly. What are they going down there now? I'm not exactly sure what they're going for. 99% City of Troy. There you go.
So look at that. It's miles clear. Look.
I mean, 19. We haven't had a 99%er before. Where's Mel Rose when you need him? I'll probably ask you about that, Rob, in a minute. All right, let's move on. We've got some more graphics coming up. Nice little thing here. 2000 Guineas favourites pre-race. Racing Post ratings. Oh yeah, Pinatobo, do you remember that? Is this a Air Force Blue? Remember that? Yeah. Oh my Lord, he's up there, isn't he? And City of Troy not even up with those guys. Frankel as well. There you go, down the bottom. Johnny Deneen, Torito can strike in Suffolk. This is, of course, the potential handicap plot for John Gosden, a race we'll be covering. And he's gone to Imperial Alex. Blimey, a horse that's really turned himself inside out for Tom Lacey. That's at Utoxeter later. Here he is, the Sizzler. You're going to see him in a second. He's gone for Summergan. Bo Pedro, of course, third in the Cambridgeshire last year, got a chance. Racing Breaks Ride is quite an interesting horse, and Twilight calls the two-pointer for Keels in the Saturday Sizzlers. And that's it then, there you are. All right, before we get our previews underway, we're rocking and ready to go. Shall we go and get a word with Aidan O'Brien? Paul Keeley, I'm delighted to say, showed his talents by asking the questions.
Right, we've got a special treat for viewers of the Morning Post now, because we've got none other than Aidan O'Brien on the line, a man who's won 43 classics in Britain overall, has 5 more trainers' titles in Britain than Willie Mullins does, and is just about to be inducted into the British Horse Racing Hall of Fame. Aidan O'Brien, thanks very, very much for joining us.
A pleasure, Paul.
Must be a proud moment to be going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow.
Yeah, a great privilege for us all, Paul. Absolutely, yeah. Listen, for us all, really, we feel privileged and honoured, and so grateful to everybody. Obviously, Sheikh Fahad and all his family and everyone in Britain. It's incredible, really. That's listen, I can't tell you how honoured and privileged we are, really. How honoured and privileged we feel.
Brilliant. Well, I'm sure it's not a moment too soon, given how many big races you have won in Britain. And, of course, you've got 17 Newmarket Guineas to your name, including 10 in the 2000, and a very hot favourite in City of Troy to make it 11 tomorrow. How has he done over the winter?
Good. Everything is good. Dean rides him in all his work and rides him out every day, and he seems very happy. Andrew's in charge of him. Davey looks after him. So, everything has went well, Paul, and obviously we have done as much as we can for him for his first run. So hopefully he runs well.
Right, yeah, there have been some sort of eagle-eyed statisticians suggesting that there might be a little bit of an issue with Justify's horses training on. Obviously, the US Triple Crown winner, he was a top 3-year-old himself, but he's had far fewer 3-year-old winners than he has 2-year-old winners. Very early for him, though, and I can imagine that what he's shown you at home doesn't worry you too much. No,
I know we're very happy with him. I wouldn't think, I'd probably imagine it would be the opposite. I think they'll, from what we have seen, I think they will get, as they go further and stretch out longer, they will get better. But no, we're very happy with everything he has done and shown us so far this year.
And the plan, all being well, would that be to go up in trip for the Derby afterwards?
I think that's what the lads are thinking. Obviously, they will make their mind up after and see what happens and all that, but I think that's what they're thinking at the moment.
Sure. Now, it's a bit, I suppose it's almost a little bit daft asking to go any further than that, isn't it? But obviously, being by Justify, would you look at the end of the season, if it all goes well, and think about the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Yeah, listen, I think the lads are thinking that if everything went well in the Derby, he could go to Saratoga for a 1.25 miles, a 3-year-old race on the dirt. So that is very possible. But I suppose, listen, we'll take one step at a time. We'll see what will happen first tomorrow and then make a plan for the next day.
Okay, well, best of luck with City of Troy. He's a really exciting horse. He went so far clear in the Dewhurst, looking like, all his best work was at the end. So there's going to be no problem with distance. Just a matter as if he's trained on, and he's a deserved hot favourite. But if we can move on now, Aidan, to the 1,000 guineas on Sunday. Now, you've got quite a good record of winning this. You won it 7 times, quite often with your supposed market second or third string. But you've only got 1 this year. Although I suppose Ylang would have been second string in the bet into Opera Singer had she made it. First of all, how's Opera Singer doing, and when is she going to come back?
Yeah, she's in good form. The plan is hopefully the Irish Guineas. She's in full work at the moment, and that's where we're hoping to go, and hopefully go from there to Ascot maybe. No, it's so far so good with her, and obviously English Guineas just came too early for her, but we're hoping to have her back for the Irish and then have a look at Ascot after that.
Right, yeah. Now, she does look very much a miler, but the question with Ylang is that was such a strong staying performance in the Fillies Mile last year, and she's by Frankel, who we know they stay a lot. The Dam stayed 1.5 miles. Will she be quick enough now, at this stage of a 3-year-old career, for a mile?
No, that'll be interesting, is right. And she works like a filly's going to get further. And obviously, like you said, she didn't win the filly's mile until really the last half a furlong. And it was a very strong gallop that day. So it will be interesting. And everything you said is right, Paul. So we're going to learn a lot more about her when she runs.
But she's been working well and pleasing you in the run-up, obviously.
Yeah, no, she's working well and she's fit. Wayne rides her out. Jamie's in charge of her. Rachel rides on her work. But he's working very well and is very fit. So we're going to get a clear picture of her, where she is and what route to go after. But obviously we have it in our mind that she could be an Oaks filly after this.
Right, sure. Now, just one more Guineas angle. Henry Longfellow was obviously in the 5-day entries for the 2000. Doesn't run. Is it French? Is it Irish?
Yes.
It's French.
Yeah, the plan is for himself and Diego Velasquez to go to the French Guineas. That's what we're thinking at the moment. Everything seems well with him as well. He's to work during the week, but that's what we're thinking at the moment.
Yeah, because he looked very good when he was winning last year. There wasn't much that got close to him, was there? Especially at the Curragh. And Diego Velasquez obviously was quite well fancied for the Futurities last year. Got upset in the stalls. The ground was absolutely bottomless. Has he done okay since then?
Yes, done very well. We're thinking of starting there with the view to maybe going to the French Derby after that. So that was what we were thinking of. He looks like a horse is going to get much further than a mile. So Stephen rides him out every day, and Wayne rides him in his work, and they seem very happy with him.
Right, we're going to move on, Aidan, just to talk about a few of the classic trials. Obviously, you got a tremendous record at Chester, which comes up next week, and then we've got York afterwards. I'm not going to bore you by asking you about all 12 that you've got in the Dante, for instance, at York, but Grosvenor Square's one very much of interest. Also in the Chester Vase, half brother to an Irish Derby winner who was fourth in St Ledger. Is he one of your 3-year-old staying candidates for the year?
Yeah, we think so. At the moment, we're going to the Vase with him in Chester. So, yeah, that's what we're thinking. We think the trip will suit him well, and he's a big horse, and he's going to learn a lot around there. But that's the plan at the moment with him.
Right, and Illinois, bit disappointing in the Ballysacks. Ground was bad. Was that needed?
Yeah, we think that was the reason. We fancied him, obviously. He was disappointing. He worked very well this morning. The plan for him is to go to maybe Linkfield. That's what we're thinking at the moment. Himself and the other horse, the Franken horse that ran in the Ballysacks, both of them the plan is to go to Linkfield with them at the moment for the Linkfield Derby trial.
Right, getcha. And Tom Segal has made a specific request for Cheshire Oaks entry Buttons, who obviously out of an Oaks runner-up, Wonder of Wonders. Looked like 7 furlongs was way too short on reappearance. Does she head to Chester? There's other options.
Yeah. No, we were thinking of going to. There's a listed fillies race the same day as the Dernstown as it's not the Dernstown now. I think it's the Cashel Palace at Leopardstown. So we were thinking of going there with her, but maybe we should be going to Chester. We thought, like Tom thought, like the extra distance would have really helped her. We just thought maybe going up that far this early might be too far, but maybe we should think about it and we'll talk about it. But at the moment, we're looking at going back to Leopardstown with her for the fillies Guineas trial on the Cashel Palace day at Leopardstown.
Right, getcha. Would there be anything you are likely to run something in the Cheshire Oaks, of course?
Yeah, we ran a filly in Dundalk. The other night had Australia filly that won a maiden Rhine Road, and we're thinking about going there with her at the moment.
Right, getcha. And you've got Point Lonsdale in the Ormond. Now, he won the Huxley Stakes last year, so he's an obviously older horse. He'll be okay at that trip, will he?
Well, it'll be interesting. Ryan always thought that he would stay, and he's a very lazy way of doing everything, but we will learn a lot about him. So that's what we're thinking of running him there and see what does happen. Obviously, he's a brother to the horse that won the mile and 5 last year and won the 2 mile in Dubai. So listen, there's a chance that he could get the trip, but that's what we're thinking about going there with him.
We're talking about stayers. We've got a horse that was very, very impressive in Maidan and has a couple of options coming up. Tower of London, he's in the Coronation Cup at Epsom, also in the Yorkshire Cup at York 2 weeks earlier, and in the Gold Cup as well. Would he get a Gold Cup trip, or are you thinking about staying at Shorter?
Yeah, we're thinking about going to York with him. It's a lovely flat track that we thought might suit him, and then he would have an option of Ascot. Obviously, we're not sure whether he would get Gold Cup trip or not, but he would be there as a good backup for Qipco. So we're thinking going to York first, and then maybe having him there in the pipeline for Ascot, and whether it would be a Gold Cup or a Hardwick or something like that.
And talking of Qipco, of course, how's he done? Obviously had a stop-start season last year, almost won at Ascot at the end of the year. Has everything gone swimmingly this season?
Yes, everything perfect so far, and we're delighted with him in Navan. And the plan is to go back to Leopardstown for the Saddlebag, and if that went well, then we would think about going back for the Gold Cup, hopefully.
So you think he'd be, right up to winning the race again?
Well, we're very happy with him, Paul. Everything is he's way ahead of last year at the moment, and hopefully he seems to have come out in Navan well. So hopefully.
Right, okay. The one more thing, I just wanted to ask you about your juveniles. I see you've so far only run 4, and only one of those have won. That's Camille Pissarro, favourite for the Coventry Stakes already. I don't know whether that tells us more about the bookmakers than it does about the horse, but he was impressive at Navan. Would that be the plan for him, or have you got more in the pipeline before then?
Yeah, there's a lot of horses to run now in the next in May, so there's an awful lot of them ready to run. So they'll all start running now very shortly. We are very happy with him in Navan. Ryan thought he would need another run before he goes to Ascot, so we'd probably try to get a winner's race in somewhere or Naas and go from there. But he looks like if he's going to Ascot, he would be more of a Coventry horse than anything else. Yes.
Right. Okay. One more question about the 2-year-olds. Is there another one that punters should be keeping an eye out over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of horses to run. I'm just trying to names is what you want. I'm just trying to see. We worked a lot of horses this morning. We've a lot of 2-year-olds ready to run now. In the next short time. I'm just looking at my list. See, can I get you a few names? I suppose there's a horse called Celtic Chieftain ready to run, a horse called Hunting Song ready to run, a horse called Seattle Fly. They're all very nice horses, we think. And then, I suppose they're probably on the horse that have kind of ready to come out. So that's what we're thinking at the moment, Paul.
Brilliant. Aidan, that's very, very helpful of you. Thanks again for coming on. Good luck with your 2 Guineas candidates at the weekend, and obviously congratulations once again for entering the British Racing Hall of Fame.
I really appreciate it. Thanks very much, Paul.
Get 50% off your first 3 months in the Racing Post Members Club. As a member, you get access to the digital newspaper exclusively available to members the night before. You'll get daily tips from the likes of Pricewise, Tom Segal, Robbie Wilders and Paul Keeley. Enjoy award-winning journalism from the industry's best writers and watch replays from all British and Irish racing now available within the Racing Post app. Subscribe today and get 50% off your first 3 months.
Oh, that was great stuff, wasn't it? Well done, Kills. Talented man, isn't he? And Aidan opened up there, did he? There are the 3 2-year-olds then. Celtic Chieftain. I thought we'd had a Celtic Chieftain run. I mean, names don't mean much.
You're thinking about Celtic Chief trained by Paul Cole, isn't you?
I thought the Coles might have had a Chieftain, that's for sure. Seattle, good name, and Hunting Song as well. All right, opened up the door. Jamie, what are we making after that insightful interview?
It was insightful in terms of Chester because I think he's got about 5 in the Tresor Oaks. It looks like Port Fairy's the Australia filly mentioned, so I'm sure she'll be short in the markets if she's the chosen one in that race. And also Grosvenor Square looks to have a really solid chance in the Vars. I think he'll go off odds on, given when I priced them up early in the week, I thought the D stake looked stronger in the Vars, and if Grosvenor Square is going for the Vars, he could go off very short.
Yeah, he's 4 to 5 at the minute with you, isn't he? I saw that earlier because there's a couple of horses in there that might be fancied against him. I said it was a slight smile. What about these 2-year-olds? We've got any prices for Royal Ascot? Is that just madness to ask that question now?
No, we have got some betting out in the Coventry Stakes. His winner, Camille Pissarro, is 6-1 joint favourite with the Joseph horse who won at the Curragh, Coward of the County, who was impressive. And the 3 he's just mentioned there, I put them in at 25-1, all 3 of them for the Coventry Stakes.
All right, brilliant. Cheers, Jay. We're testing you there as well as Keeley. So that was good stuff. All right, Aidan O'Brien. Thanks, Aidan, for coming on. Chris is media manager as well. Really, really enjoyable stuff. More to come tomorrow as well about the 1,000 guineas. We will be back, just as a reminder, from 10 tomorrow as well. But it's time now for our previews, and we open up all Newmarket. Here we go. DJ, are you still with us?
I am still with you. Yeah, I enjoyed Keels. What a pro. I tell you, Dave, our jobs are screwed because Keels is going to take them all.
Oh no, absolutely. We might need to work on our tans as well. He's somehow managed to get a tan in this weather. Keels as well. Yeah, absolutely. This is like a baked bean, didn't he? Unbelievable. Right, okay, the 110. I don't know where that came from. At Newmarket, the 110. Tricky opener for us, J-Mac.
Yeah, there's been a couple for money. Starguest, who looks a really solid favourite at 9-4, and the other one for money is Funny Story, who's 9-2 from 11-2 earlier this morning. DJ,
let's go to you then. You've been waiting patiently, like we have as well, with that interview. Who caught your eye in this opener?
Look, I'm sure Tom is going to make all the reasons why Starguest is too short and won't win. And, he'll probably make a better case than I will. But I thought she would win. I was pretty impressed with her in her final start last season. She won, we didn't see her after July, which was obviously a little bit of a concern. But I just loved how straightforward it was in that filly's handicap at Newmarket the last time she appeared. Cuban Breeze was second. It looked a relatively strong heat, I thought. And I just thought she'd learned a lot throughout the season and seemed to be progressing quite nicely. Look, on ratings, she shouldn't be the price she is, but she's priced on potential more than anything. But I do think she has more potential than anything else in the lineup. It's a boring start from me, Dave. I'm sure Tom will tell me exactly why I'm wrong, but I think Starguest will win.
I love that, DJ. We've all worked with each other such a long time now. Even the viewers will be preempting what Tom might be saying, I think, as well. And we go in we give our cases knowing that someone will be ready to knock it down. Take it away, Starguest.
Well, I'm not going to knock it down. I'm just going to say 9-4 with a horse that hasn't run this season. It's not that well in on the ratings. It's not my kind of bet. Having said that, she's got a lot of potential. I agree with DJ, actually, that she was really impressive on her last start. The one I quite like is Heritage House, though, at a much bigger price. I love the form of her Doncaster run last year. She was second to Cheek Columbine, who's going to run in the French Guineas, and she might have a chance in the French Guineas. If it's muddy,
she'll love it, won't she?
And she came to beat her and then sort of got tired. So I think dropping back to 6 is a good idea for her. She ran pretty well in the Nell Gwyn, considering she was a bit keen over 7, didn't quite get home.
Yeah.
I think dropping back to 6, she's got plenty to find on the weights. But I just thought that this is the type of race that will suit her. If they go flat out, there's Glorious Angel in there. I think you might see a better filly back at 6.
This was a very good race for 3-year-olds. Haven't won it the last couple of years. We've looked through the last roll call of honours. 3-year-olds all over the places. We'll get 3-year-olds against old horses later on as we go. And it's typical Fanshawe, this, isn't it? One run back and then crack on.
Yeah, I think at this stage of the year, over trips of a mile and up, I'd be worried about 3-year-olds. But sprinting, you just flat out horses. They're just going, aren't they? I'm not too worried about the 3-year-olds versus the older horses at sprint trips.
All right.
So we'll get on to Beautiful Diamond later.
We will.
But I'm not too worried about that personally.
All right, that's the boost. Rob, let's go to you.
I think Tom's been copying my notes because I also like Heritage House.
I have been copying Rob.
Yeah, I'm winding him up. I think, like Tom says, it was a good run in the Nell Gwyn last time. Quite slowly away that day. It was obviously hard to make up ground at that meeting from off the pace. And just her form lines aren't looking too bad in the context of this race. She wasn't beaten far by a day in Devon at Leicester in October when she was relatively inexperienced. That horse has gone on and run some really good races this season. So I'm pretty surprised she's as big as 8-1, to be honest. I think she's got a little bit of class about her, and this is a pretty open race, so I couldn't put anyone off.
That is 3 nods then for Heritage House, 1 for Starguest. You with DJ?
No, unequal love for me. Yard have won a couple of the recent run-ins of this. Better off, £3 better off at the weights with Funny Story, and I think she's sort of filly that there could be further progress this year.
What about the market with these Godolphin horses? I'm going to come to unequal love as well, because yesterday they had 2 horses that dropped out the back of the telly in the first 2 races. They were short, but if you looked at the actual betting patterns, they were pretty stinky in the betting. And the market seems to know with Charlie Appleby horses, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the one that won, the older horse that won was a big drifter too, wasn't it? The handicap
That's
winner.
typical, the third race, Noble Truth or whatever it is. Yeah, the Noble Dynasty, is it? Whichever one it is.
There's a lot of Nobles, isn't there?
And absolutely hosed up, you're right.
Bold Style ran quite well yesterday as well, I thought. So I don't know if they're
worried about the
And what about William Aguissiard? Those that are punted off the board in novice company have been hitting the target, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, William Agg is one of the best trainers in the. I wouldn't worry about. We sit here and we say, are they going to be ready? It's William Agg. Yeah. If it's fancied, it'll run well.
Well, are they going to be ready is the topic of the day. All right, because we're getting up to the big one at 3:35. But let's move on then. A reminder of your tips. DJ thinks looking at the ball big with Star Guest just outclassed them, I suppose. Unequal Love, really solid against Super Posty, and Heritage House for the three wise monkeys here. All right, 1:45. We go. They're all out.
Are you one of those?
What, a wise monkey?
Yeah.
I don't know. A monkey for sure.
I'm not sure about the wise bit.
The wise is I'm a wise guy.
That was what shocked me.
So you're not in the nap department.
The three monkeys. Yeah, let's move on for the naps. This is the week, I'm telling you. Oh, look who's at the top of our betting here. It's only some again then, Jay. And it's the William Hill sponsored race as well. It's a cracking sprint handicap for us.
It is a cracking race, yeah. 6 places as well, which is very, very generous looking at the how overbroke we are on the place book. So theoretically, the more we take, the more we lose on each way bets. Summergand is very solid. Of the front ones, he's much more solid than Noble Style, who's a little bit weak. And there's also money about for Abate and Amarama Gold have also been well backed. But as you'd expect, there's a good spread of business.
I worry about your slot on this show, Jay, because you've had a winning boost last week. Okay, you're going for Beautiful Diamond, who Tom says got no problems there whatsoever. That is the boost of you just joining us this week. And I batted it to you that it was a William Hill sponsored race. Of course, you're sponsoring the whole weekend.
We are,
your
yes.
link.
Yes, I should say we are betting partners of Newmarket this weekend, so we're sponsoring plenty.
Job safe. Don't worry about it, Jay. All right, okay. Summergand, obviously the mover then. Kills has put it up. Loads of support for this chap. I can't believe he's still running. It's unbelievable, isn't he? Danced every dance, did catch the eye last time when Lots was against him, I think. Are you a fan?
I'm a fan of the horse. I'm not a fan of him today.
Well answered.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah. Ali's dancing for me. I do have concerns about the ground, though, as in it did nothing but rain with me yesterday, but Newmarket doesn't seem to have been that affected by it. He is at his best on softer ground. I thought his third at Doncaster on his return was a really good effort. He's always plying his trade in these sort of top handicaps and back down to his last winning mark in 93. I thought he was interesting, but I am a little bit concerned about the going.
There's a theme here because I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm not so worried about the ground as you. I thought he ran really well at Doncaster where he made his move away from the track, and it's Kevin Ryan in his sprint handicaps at Newmarket, isn't it? I'm not too worried. We should mention the ground there. Let's go to DJ. 7.0 DJ. So that's probably just about the quickest I've seen so far in Britain. They probably have ones that have been higher so far, but it doesn't half dry quickly, Newmarket. Is that affecting your thoughts in this race?
Well, it's funny, when I came to this race and I was starting to think like Tom Segal, to be honest with you, because I remember when he tipped Sharjah at Ayr and I was scratching my head, and then I read what he said, and everything rings true here, I think, with Noble Style in the Sharjah theme of things, because you look at Noble Style and you say to yourself, okay, he was, your Jim Crack winner at 2, looked a potential superstar, was rated 117 going into the Guineas last season, and just watch back the Guineas. I watched it twice last night, last year's Guineas. He was a real eye-catcher in the race. We knew a mile was obviously going to stretch him. It was the one time he did try a mile, and it did properly stretch him, but he didn't have travel, and he was only beaten 5 lengths in a race where Augusta Rodin and Little Big Bear were obviously out with the washing. Now, the season went astray afterwards. He was disappointed when he was beaten at odds on by Shaquille, but maybe he wasn't as disappointing as a starting price suggested that day at Newbury, because he was 8-11, but we didn't know how good Shaquille was at that stage. And then obviously he went to Royal Ascot and was beaten by Shaquille again, but he has been gelded. Now, I would forget to run at Chester and soft ground in the autumn. It was probably a little bit of an afterthought, but the fact that he comes back here and now in a handicap at a course where I thought he handled it reasonably well last season in the Guineas, and you look through the horses he's run against, like he's down to a mark of 108. He is £9 lower than he was this time last season. He's running against seasoned handicappers who are obviously very good, but he was verging on being one of the best 2-year-olds, so the top echelon of the 2-year-old brigade a couple of seasons ago. I just wonder, is he just a completely different class to these? And I think you're getting a decent price to try and find out. I think he's drifted out to 6-1 now. I am intrigued to see what Tom thinks about him, and maybe he's just gone at the game. But the fact that they brought him back so early, brought him back here, brought him back for a handicap, and the Appleby team is going well, I think he's one of the better bets on Saturday, Noble Style.
Won this with a massive punt. I think it was 2019 on the Warpath. Do you remember him?
Correct.
Prescott.
Yeah.
That was 9-4 shot. This is, as DJ says, easy enough to back at 6s. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's, first of all, it's very interesting that they send a lot of horses to Dubai, don't they, and don't come back. And the fact that Charlie Appleby has kept Noble Style, gelded him, and still got him in training, says that he must think there's some races to be won with him. Question it, he does go well fresh, and he likes Newmarket, so there's a lot in his favour. Personally, I like a horse in these big sprint handicaps at this stage of the season that have had a run. I just think it brings you to a fever pitch. This is a big race, a lot of money. Now, Noble Style, I think, might end up being a Wokingham horse, and he could win this, as could Rabar. They're the same sort of horse. Rabar's not quite got the class, but he's same sort of profile. But I'm looking for horses in these races that are going to be primed for this race.
Yeah,
I don't know if Noble Style, he could be, DJ could be right. It could be the first time out to get him. But I like horses that are primed for this race. Summerhand's obviously got a chance. Chairman of the board is another one that's placed in this race twice before.
It likes it juicy, doesn't he, Chairman?
It'd be great if Edward Greatrex won, though, wouldn't it? I mean, just
great comeback.
Just great comeback. Exactly. He's got a big ride here. Shannon horses are absolutely flying at the moment. Yeah. They're in great form. So I just think he's the each-way bet in the race because I think he's twice been placed in the race. He's off the same sort of mark. Good run at Newbury last time. Just lots going from. It's not the type of race that I love. Sprint handicaps. They're not really my thing. But I think he'll go well. And the other one is my old friend Apollo 1, but he hasn't had the run. If he'd had the run, I'd be very keen on him because he's got form in all the best races off this sort of mark.
Another horse that's run well in this race
and
before.
He was third in it last year. He was behind Chairman of the board, actually, funnily enough, and he's slightly worse off at the weights, but he could go well too.
He can go forward as well. I didn't think there was masses of pace in this. There's not like loads of confirmed speed.
Totally agree. Yeah, Apollo 1 would be my selection. Like him to sit prominently. He did. I mean, I get what Tom's saying about first time out. It was his seasonal return last year, and he did run well at the track. He's just a horse that you can really set your watch to. I mean, he's second in the Wokingham, the Stewards Cup, and the big 6-furlong handicap at the Derby meeting. Yeah. He's just consistent, and he's dropped a few pounds since his last couple of runs. This sort of test is going to suit him. He goes on any ground. I think even though he is making his return, I think you'd be quite surprised if he wasn't in the sort of first 4 or 5. So I think he's one that makes most appeal to me.
I felt certain someone was going to go for Mum's Tipple here.
Just a track thing for me.
Ryan's on.
He just ran a couple of bad races at Newmarket, and I remember as a 2-year-old them coming off and saying he hated the track. He hated going down the dip. He likes York, doesn't he? He's got good form there and places like that. Ascot, straight tracks. I would be slightly worried about that for him.
He's a remarkable horse, isn't he? He was a massive eye catch on his return at the all-weather, and I thought they were getting him ready for Newcastle again. And they've trained him slightly differently. But Ryan's on, and he's one to watch. But I always remember that we couldn't get him right, and all he had to do was turn up at York again, wasn't it? A couple of years later, and he won. But it's an absolute barnstormer race. And a reminder of the tips: we're together with Ali's Dancer, DJ's Noble Style, Class to the 4,
Apollo 1 for me.
Chairman of the board.
With a little bit on Apollo 1.
Well, perhaps we'll see if I get home in time.
Little Apollo 1 seasoning. Well, in that case, you won't be back in that, Tom. All right, okay, that is the 45, sorry, my eye's not working. All right then, shall we move on? And let's get some of your naps in. We'll get some social selections in. Love to hear from you out there. Don't forget, keep liking and subscribing. Massive weekend here for the show. 2:20 then, another William Hill sponsored race. This time it's the Suffolk Stakes. This is a great handicap. This is kind of like road to Hunt Cuppy, if you like, and Cambridgeshire's, all that sort of thing. And the market has been fascinating all week because, Jay, we've been wondering what Torito would be doing. He's undoubtedly the potential handicap blot, as we call them, viewers out there, the one that could be miles ahead of his mark. I think the Gosdens probably thought he'd be better than this at this point, but he's still hovering at the 4-1.
Yeah, he's a little bit weak. We're happy to be layers rather than backers, to be against him rather than with them. I mean, he was really impressive in a good race at Epsom, but and hasn't been seen since Royal Ascot, I think. I mean, he's nice and he's got potential, but 105's no gimme, so he's going to have to be a group horse to be winning. And the one we've laid against him is Dutch Decoy, which I'm sure is Tom inspired. He's really popular. Was unlucky in a race here at the Craven meeting, and he's easily the worst result at the moment.
Okie dokie. Right, those of you that religiously follow Price-Wise every week would have been looking at Dutch Decoy here. That's the selection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, just because he was desperately unlucky not to win a race.
He was the headline today, wasn't he?
That's just unlucky.
Good headline, that. Because it was we were
write
drawn
it.
in. Oh, didn't you?
Far too clever
you
for
wrote
me.
it in your copy, didn't you? Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
But he was really unlucky, wasn't he, not to win the mile handicap here at the last meet. He's just got very solid course form. I'm a big Newmarket course form, very predictable sort of thing. And he's just going to run well, isn't he? Not a bit worried. He's drawn in trap 1 on the wing. Don't really like horses drawn on a wing at Newmarket. You don't know where they're going to go, what's going to happen. Could be a draw bias, we don't know. So I'm slightly worried about that. But I just thought he's going to run a race. He was 7th in the Cambridgeshire off a similar mark when he was drawn. He won his race on the far side, basically. I just thought he was going to run. But you could make a case for Beau Pedro on a similar thing, yes. Majestic on a similar thing. Theory of Everything obviously ran well the other day. I would want softer ground for him.
He's got a really pronounced knee action, hasn't he?
I think so. They were very. He was brilliant, wasn't he, on his debut at Doncaster?
Yeah. Hock deep.
And then he ran well in the Greenham. Yeah.
He's just the sort of horse that Mara will do well with.
I do think Westerton's got a chance, though.
I do
think
it's another trend.
Yeah, I do
you
think
teed up, and I agree with you.
I think he's got a chance. I think he's just a progress. I liked him last year. He was running in good handicaps. I like him back down. I'm just slightly worried about 9 furlongs.
There's a big one in him. I was at Glorious Goodwood when it was the worst weather to be on track I've ever experienced last season. And he cruised, and I backed him. He cruised and found very little. That was over a shot.
Doesn't like soft ground, does he?
The ground was against him. Kingy is doing well this spring, isn't he?
His horses are running really well.
Really well. I think I've just about got him on top here. I love this race. It's like the London Gold Cup. It's one of these great handicaps, isn't it? Rob?
Yeah, I postmaned up Fear of Everything at the start of the week, anticipating maybe slightly slower conditions. They've not materialised. I mean, you look at his pedigree, he's by Frankel out of a QE2 winner persuasive on soft ground. He could still rate it quite a bit higher than 92, I think. I thought it was a good run behind. Obviously, he's held slightly by Dutch Decoy in that form, but I don't know. I mean, we're always going on about David O'Mara is good with these sort of new acquisitions. And he's £1 well on that effort. I think William Buick's an eye-catching booking. Danny Tollo couldn't have done that weight, I believe.
No.
So I wouldn't be put off by the fact that he's running Beau Pedro. And I mean, you could see his last time was on a sort of similar enough surface to what we're going to get today.
Quicker, I would imagine.
Yeah, quite possibly. And I think he's solid enough. I definitely think he's better than his mark. But these O'Mara horses can be a bit sort of in and out. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on him, whatever. But I am on him anti-post, so I'll be cheering him on.
The faux postman put his stamp on that.
Yeah,
the real
don't call
postman.
me phone,
mate. This is
I'm
the real postman.
This is the
you
faux
nicked
postman.
it off Charlie. This was the postman.
That was copyright.
It is. You're the faux postman.
Yeah. That's hard.
Well, it's been very popular for him. They called him a pest at
I always
William
thought
Hill.
Charlie was a faux postman, but fine.
So anyway,
We're in agreement anyway.
what are you going to deliver?
We're going Theory of Everything. I'm with the real postman.
Your protege.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Good film as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was well bought, 55 grand as well. Gelded during the winter. I thought the run was eye-catching. I just wondered watching it whether he maybe slightly needed the run.
Good off. Yeah.
I just thought he came with a really good run, looking like he maybe finished second and flattened out through the last 100 yards. I think he's a really interesting horse.
I'm wondering if O'Mara's won this before. He's not in the last 10, so but you associate this sort of... Okay, Theory of Everything. No one going for Torito, or are they?
Well, that's me. No.
That was a beautiful link, DJ, as well. I'm like, come on, he's going to get this.
He took that link like
Beautiful
someone
link,
that's
sorry
been at
about
Punchestown all week.
My other half, Johnny Deneen, fancies Torito. His headline tip in the Racing Post today, and you can certainly see where he's coming from, and he makes a very valid case. I laughed when Robbie said that The Theory of Everything was a really good film. My first ever date with Aoife was to go and see The Theory of Everything, and I absolutely bawled my eyes out, and I was trying to not let on that I was crying. So I was staring at the wall so she wouldn't see me crying, and she was obviously in bits as well. And I turned around to her and I go, "What are you crying about?" And me secretly bawling my eyes out as well. So that's The Theory of Everything. I like Westerton. I think with Westerton, he's one of these horses. He probably does want it a little bit further, but I do think there's a bit of pace here. And I thought he was unlucky not to win again last season. I thought he ran really well at Newmarket in the July course, kind of in the middle of summer. And then he was kind of carried across the track at Doncaster. And he did well to get dropped £2 for that run at Newmarket, his final run of the season, because it was bottomless ground over a mile and a half. And he's got dropped £2 for it. I think he starts the season a reasonably well handicapped horse. Like Alan King, he's only had 4 winners in the last fortnight, but he's at 7 seconds. And he's had a lot of horses go very, very close to winning. I think his team are running really well at the moment. And I thought, at a double figure price, I thought Westerton was probably the value.
3 ticks for Westerton. You'd be one of those easy criers, DJ, I think.
I'm a disaster.
I'm the same. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a booer.
Are you?
Yeah, a bit of a booer.
Surprises me.
You, however, are stone cold.
Cold-blooded, mate.
I wouldn't imagine a tear would ever come out of you, would it?
I think I'm getting more emotional as I get older.
At Newmarket the other day.
At Coventry. What about at Wembley?
Oh, there were tears then, yeah.
Your first ever VAR experience, and Man United rubbed it in, didn't they?
Well,
it was massively pleasing.
I mean, I think the nation was with us, to be honest.
We were.
Bar you.
It was Keith memories of Keith Halchin nearly evoked, Cyril Regis, all the...
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen that on videos.
Oh, that was a great day. You remember that.
Don't point at me.
I've got it. Otherwise I'm alone. All right, okay. Let's get some social selections up, shall we? And see what you like out there. This is a great race to do it. Bob Pedro each way and Dutch Decoy each way on X, says the Leech. Tom Leach, good to have you with us, Tommy boy. Bo Pedro and Dutch Decoy each way. Mikey Boy, I guess. Mia Nichols has improved a lot as a jockey. She had a great Craven. Well, she had that one winner as a Craven meet. Yeah, I like that. Okay, Mia Nichols for Dad Adrian, of course. That's it at the minute. Keep them coming in. What have you been saying out there for that to be the pick out there? I mean, must be absolute carnage on the community, I'd imagine. Jay, just before we move on from this race, a horse caught my eye on the graphic as it was going up. And it's called Stay Well of Hughie Morrison's, a horse that I think's got a decent prize in it this year. I was seeing some 50s, 66 to 1 in places. You've got it at 25s.
Yeah, we have laid him. Yeah, he's one of the losers in the book. He's a bit of a frustrating horse. I followed him a little bit last year. Whether he's gone up and down in trip, whether this might be a bare minimum or not, but we've definitely seen each way money for him.
Jamie, what about Mustazid? He was a 25 to 1 shot when I was looking at the race. So he's into 12 now. Is he the one that's been backed?
Yeah, no, he's another one that's popular. Yeah, we're 5 places who all seen a good spread of business. He's another one we have backed. Obviously, an upwardly mobile yard and a popular jockey as well. So, yep, another one that's been money for.
All right, that is the Heritage Handicaps, the William Hill-sponsored Suffolk Stakes, and seemingly a feverish betting heat as well. Let's move on, shall we? This is the reference to the 3-year-old against older horses. Well, the peak of it today, I would imagine. Of course, we've got a Goodwood card that we'll discuss later on, and racing elsewhere. Good Thirst Cup as well, isn't there? But it is time for the Palace House, the William Hill Palace House, and Mitt Bahi, 11 to 4, beautiful Diamond is the horse in question that we've been sort of throwing references to this morning. Twilight Call's very popular out there. Kurdos as well. Before we get the thoughts of the panel and maybe the sprinting division as it stands in this country at the minute. Jay, what's been hot?
Yeah, Beautiful Diamond's obviously a key horse today. She's one that will make... I'll be tearful if she does the business today, I think. She is one of the most important horses for us today. And hopefully, the likes of Mitt Bahi and Twilight Calls, I think they've just got much stronger form in the book. Hopefully, one of them does the business.
He's not an easy crier, is he? Jay,
I'm not having him down as a crier.
No. Even tears of joy wouldn't come out of him fast or slow galloping, I don't think, would they? Maybe his family would have tested that slightly differently. DJ, I want to come to you here then. Let's open it up. Sprint division as a whole, domestically, in Britain and Ireland as it stands.
Oh, Jesus, I haven't a clue. Not an absolute clue. I've been looking at Galloping the Shams and Fast or Slow and Stateman and going to be looking at Lossiemouth today. I genuinely haven't a clue. I have looked at this race, though, and the sprinting division, I always think the sprinting division is probably the one division where you can make the jump up from kind of, reasonably good handicapper to stake sprinter pretty easily compared to other kind of divisions over different distances. Beautiful Diamond, you can understand why Beautiful Diamond is favourite and, has got that kind of stakes form from last season and was very good at Ayr, real professional, I thought, on final start at 2. Look, I would be giving Twilight Calls another chance here. He's one of these horses who he's infuriating because he's quite, I don't know if you could call him deceptive. Just the way he travels when he's on a going day is so eye-catching, and he can look so glorious that you kind of say to yourself, how on earth has he not won a King's Stand at some stage or not won a real top sprint? And you think a race like this where, you haven't got, a half dozen proper Group 1 sprinters in here, like last season, just saying the King's Stand. You think a race like this should be his for the taking. Now, He did win first time out in 2022. Last season he ran in this race, but remember it went kind of real bottomless ground, and the Dream won it. But I just go back to that run in the King's Stand last year when he finished fourth to Bradsell and Highfield Princess. Like, he was so unlucky not to finish. Like, he was beaten, I think, just over 3 lengths. You could probably upgrade that by maybe 2 lengths. So he was very unlucky not to finish third anyway. Henry Candies have been tending to need the run, but I'd imagine this has been the target for Twilight Calls for ages since he's come back into training. I think on his day, he's the best of these, and I just wonder if it doesn't get into the ground too much of the rain, is today going to be the day for Twilight Calls? He's infuriating, but I think he might win today.
Yeah, you and Paul Keeley aligned then, 2-pointer in the Saturday Scissors to remind everyone as well. Twilight Call's getting a lot of love all over the place. In fact, I'm surprised he's as big as 4-1. I thought he would be pushing Mick Bahi for favouritism. State of the sprinted division in a few words.
It's rubbish.
Brilliant, Tom.
It's all right. It's the same as ever, isn't it? Really?
The thing is, my feeling about it, Dave, is that the best bred horses tend to want a bit further, don't they?
This is quite an interesting theory, this. And we were chatting about this before we were about to come on. I think it's hard to disagree with Tom here. Let's listen.
You know, the Gosdens and the Aidan O'Briens, they don't have that many sprinters, do they? They want to win 7 furlong mile races.
It's an afterthought, isn't it?
It is. And you're dealing with lesser bred horses, I feel, in the sprinting division. And so I think they're easier to win. That's why we often see the handicappers winning the Group 1s. There's very little between them. You could never imagine a Royal Hunt Cup winner winning the Queen Anne.
Yeah,
would you?
But you can have a little shot of Robbie Wilders right now, by the way, being mind blown. This is your first sitting with Tom Segal, and you're learning.
Nice to hear the gentleman's thoughts. I mean, but the way the breeding industry's going, they're breeding a lot for precocity, aren't they? And 2-year-olds, fast 2-year-olds. But then, like, are they going to really train on? So that's probably feeds into what Tom's saying. These high-class handicappers. There's a lot of like memasses and sort of horses of that.
I want my horse to be by Frankel or Kingman or something like that, rather than being...
I mean, Muharrar is the classic example there, isn't it? One of the champion sprinters. Charlie Hills does well with just this type of horse. I don't want to put Charlie in a pocket like that, but he definitely does excel with them. And Muharrar started off as a Guineas contender, didn't get home in the Greenham, goes to the Commonwealth Cup trial, and you know.
But that's great, isn't it? I don't mind. That's the way we want it. If we want them to be going for the Guineas, proving they can't stay it, come back. That's what we don't want them to be running.
Yeah, which could happen this afternoon.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of sires that are sort of lucky to be sires nowadays for me. Like, you look at their profile, what they achieved, you're like, should that horse really be reproducing? Like,
you're lucky to be a sire, you are. I've never...
You know what I mean, though? You're like, what did that horse do? He won the Mill Reef. Like,
Chaloner.
It's not enough.
I mean, from the sprint division, you're wanting Van Dijk or Big Evs or something like that to be dominant, aren't you?
Who are yet to play their hands, so Connections will be looking at this. But we do have a 3-year-old here who is stepping up, and it's Beautiful Diamond, who we saw winning at Ayr. Tom, give her the case, because you're not bothered about the 3-year-olds.
Not bothered about the 3. Look at Royal Ascot last year. Bradsell was a 3-year-old, didn't he? He didn't make any difference when he won the King's Stand. At this stage of the season, I'm not too worried about how old they are. I think it's just running 5 furlongs as fast as you can, isn't it?
Right. Well, she will like to get on with it a bit as well. If you look at the
Can she do it? I don't know. She wasn't a brilliant 2-year-old. She was a good one, but she wasn't a brilliant one. Bradsell did win the Coventry at the end of the day. So whether she's good enough to win, I don't know. Twilight Calls has the best form, but is he going to be the most ready for this race? Don't know. Mick Bahi, 5 furlongs at Newmarket down the hill.
He was a massive eye catcher first time out for Charlie Hills when everything was winning from the front. It was Washington Heights race, Rob, wasn't it? And he flew home.
He's not an obvious. Do you reckon he's an obvious one for the drop in 5?
I'm not sure, is he?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I saw. I was on a quality anti-post and I thought he was the value in the week, so I've sort of gone back to the drawing board. But it's not really a race I want to play in now. Like, you could say Twilight Calls is the best form because of his King's Stand runs. He's placed in 2 of them. Yeah. And Mick Bahi's run quite well in better company.
A quality coming out. Charlie Hills has otherwise spoilt the market for Mick Bahi if you wanted to back him.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why he came out, actually. I think he'd have had plenty in his favour. I thought it was a really good handicap win last time. But it's a race I want to sit out. If the rain came, I'd have thought the Dream was interesting. But it didn't, or if it did, it wasn't as much as we thought. So I've gone by Mick Bahi by default because he has had a run and he's got class, but the way he's going to get ridden probably could put him on the back foot a little bit.
I spoke to Roger Varian a lot about this guy last season. Whenever I bumped into Roger or had him on shows, you got the feeling that he thought this was going to be a top-notcher.
And he's not really a trainer of sprinters. Varian, I'd say. Like Charlie Hill was more renowned for this.
He didn't quite get the rub of the green in his
I mean,
last
when
two starts.
he won the race at Sandown, didn't he? Over
He did.
5.
That exactly. He is a quick horse. He needs to be covered up. And
he was cantering the whole way through that.
Yeah.
So I'm not that worried about the drop to 5.
Who is
really.
the tip, Tom?
I think he might just win it because I think he's going to be ready for this. He's had the run.
You're with it?
Yeah, he's had a run. I think it's interesting,
A panel bet.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, because J-Mac's all over it as well.
Are any of us overly confident?
DJ the outlier then with Twilight Calls. All right, great stuff. That is the Palace House. We move on. It's the big one. Still got 2 more to go after that as well. DJ, are you on the clock as well? Should we be conscious of that?
Oh, I'm all right. I'll be going to Punchestown now in a little while. What time does this finish? Midnight on Wednesday, is it?
Yeah, you might miss Punchestown, DJ.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be too worried about that. Look at the state of the poor fella. It's a long old stint, DJ, isn't it? I want to come to you after Jay with this, DJ, if you don't mind. But let's get the market from William Hill's top trader, then J Mac. He sits at 11 to 8 on. I thought that was under pressure when I woke up first thing this morning. Let's play the SP. What's he going to go off, Jay?
I would think maybe 8 to 13ish. It doesn't look as though he's going to be a drifter at the moment. He's really solid. He's the only loser in the book, and he's quite a significant loser. It doesn't always follow that his short ones are the worst results in the book, because people often look for bigger priced alternatives. But like I say, he looks really solid at the moment. Outside of him, Ghostwriter is the best back this morning. He's been supported from sort of 16 into about the 11 to 1 mark is at the moment. He's the alternative, but Fav really solid.
I'm giggling about Ghostwriter, and all will be revealed in a little bit. But DJ, for anyone that's been living under a rock this winter, give us the case on City of Troy. You've done the stable tour, I'm assuming, as well.
I actually didn't. Connor did it this year. I've spoke to Aidan endlessly about City of Troy, I'd say, for the last 12 months or so. Look, sure. You see, if you pick up the Racing Post today, they've actually done a section where they picked out all the quotes that Aidan, Ryan, Tabor, Magnar have said about City of Troy, and they've put them in a kind of a list. So that makes for intriguing reading, because the tired thing is the most interesting one, that he's never tired. Like, he's never seen a horse that's never got tired. So that's the most interesting quote to me, because a lot of the other stuff he might have said already, but the not getting tired thing is a new thing, I think. And it just reminds me of Constitution Hill, because he's the only horse I've seen who never ever looks tired. Maybe at Aintree when he tried 2.5 miles, but anytime I'd seen Constitution Hill, he never looked tired at the end of his races. So that's interesting. And I was there the day he won his maiden at the Curragh, and often these stories grow legs, and you hear kind of people saying, they couldn't pull him up and he went down the back straight. But there is a dead end at the Curragh, and it's a long way from the winning post, and he genuinely had difficulty pulling him up after he won his maiden City of Troy. So that story is actually true. It's not a fib. So he obviously is extremely exciting. I think this is a day you just have to watch him, though. I don't think you could possibly back him at 4 to 6 or 8 to 13. I think you have to just watch him and enjoy the spectacularness of it, if he is as good as people think he is. And hopefully he is, because I think we all want him to be exactly what Aidan is saying he is. I think we secretly, we all really want that. We want to see if he can progress the way Frankel progressed. And, maybe come, 4 o'clock today, we'll be saying, what a load of nonsense. Who knows? So that's why Tom said it earlier on the show. He said that's why he loves the 2,000 guineas. And that's one of the reasons, because we don't know, and we're only going to find out during the race. So I hope he wins. Of those at bigger prices, Tom tipped up Iberian anti-post at 50 to 1. And I remember at the time thinking, it intrigued me. And I'll be interested to hear his thoughts now, because he's drifted back out to 40 to 1 now. I think he's the complete overpriced one, Iberian, because if you take away that Dewhurst run where nothing really happened for him and he hated the ground, and it was a funny sort of a performance, but I thought he was really good in the Champagne. I thought he was probably the best horse against Hatton at Goodwood, where he kind of came down the outside and was away from the action. I thought he shaped like the best horse there. And I know this is probably a foolish thing to do, but of all the horses that worked during the Craven meeting at Newmarket, he was the one that properly caught my eye. Now, I hate judging pieces of work too closely, because you never know what weight they're carrying. You never know what they're supposed to do. You don't know what the work riders are told to do. But he was the only horse that worked during the Craven meeting. I wasn't impressed by Knight Rider. I thought Iberian was the one who looked absolutely brilliant. He cruised clear. Everton was effortless. He glided. And I have to say, I'm surprised he's 40-1. He'd interest me in the each-way markets and betting without City of Troy.
I wonder whether the market was hoping for a bit more rain for him if you were a fan of... no, you don't think so, Iberian?
I don't think they would be a bit worried about rain. I think he needs
well,
fast
he beat
ground.
Rosalian, didn't he?
He
Comfortably
does,
on
but
soft
I think
ground.
he's a fast ground horse.
All right.
I do too, yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, that's a great narrative. I think we needed that, all right? This is a betting show, but of all the races that we'll preview this year, of all the races, I think this is probably one of the most exciting we will ever do. Here we have what they call our Frankel. We know commercially how important this is to talk about taking him to the Travers at Saratoga to get him ready for breeding. I mean, he's that sort of a freak of a horse. Now, let's find the chinks in him, Tom. Let's start with City of Troy then. Jay seems to think that 8 to 11 will be value come the off. But what are the chinks in him? Aidan O'Brien's form people are talking about. The not training on is a potential big worry. And when you actually put the numbers together and look into it forensically, it has to be something of a worry, considering his mother, justify his sire, and his siblings as well. Only one of them has won at 3 out of 4.
Not one bit worried about whether he'll train on at all. That would be the last thing on my mind. What would be worrying is whether he's going to be cherry ripe for today, because he might need to be. Because this, the thing about the Guineas is if there's a brilliant miler in it, they beat the horses that are going to stay further. They just do. If you're a Camelot or a Nashwan, and you run into maybe a dodgy Guineas or a not that brilliant Guineas, you can win despite being better over further. I'm being harsh on Nashwan because he actually beat Mark of Distinction, but you know what I mean. If one of these horses in here is like going to be champion miler, City of Troy can get beaten because I think his future lies over 1.5 miles. So you're asking him to be dancing brave. Frankel never really tried further until his 4-year-old career.
Yeah.
He was always... So if City of Troy is going to then go on to the Derby,
yes,
he's going to have to beat... And there is a top miler in here. There's a chance he could get beaten. I'm not saying he will, because he could be a superstar horse. But if a Rosalian is going to end up winning the St James's Palace, the Sussex Stakes, and whatever those races are, then he's got a chance of beating him today.
We'll get to Rosalian in a second, which is Tom's headline tip, along with Iberian as the anti-post, if you want to get ahead there. But Jay, let's come to you, because the double has been popular all winter, hasn't it? Because again, you look at the pedigree of City of Troy, and you think, well, he's going not too many problems stepping up. What is it with Hills at the moment for the Guineas and the Derby, the Saxon Warrior?
9-4 we are, and we're also 6-1 for the Triple Crown, which has been mentioned on and off. But Aidan mentioned earlier in the interview that the Travers, which I think off the top of my head usually falls around York Ebor time. So I don't know whether they could do that and the Ledger. That might be asking a bit much. But 9-4 the double, 6-1 the treble.
Yeah, it's either America or the Triple Crown, isn't it? Okay, so that's City of Troy. Let's just get a word from Rob and Charlie on City of Troy before we go back to the big danger in the race.
Yeah, well, you look at Aidan's record. We've been here before with like these hype horses, and they get beaten at short prices.
Air Force Blue, you're thinking of?
Yeah, I mean, he was a sprinter, I suppose. I mean, this horse is obviously going to be better over further, but O'Brien's lost with 5 of his 8 odds-on shots in Britain. It's not my sort of bet, even though he was brilliant at 2. I don't think he was that much more brilliant than Rosalian for me. I mean, his performance that form line at Ascot when he won the Pat Edry Stakes, he had 2 Group 1s in behind. Group 1 was in behind. He had Group 2 winner, Group 3 winner, and he won that so easily. You can draw a lot. He's got his conditions today. Like, he wasn't on it in the Champagne Stakes when the juice got into the ground. The rain hasn't materialised. It's not going to be slow at all. Richard Hannon, exceptional record in the Guineas. I mean, I'm on him since like January anti-post. I'm much more confident now with the way the ground's gone, and I just think 6-1 is just simply too big.
You were like a kid in a sweet shop last year with that Ascot form line, weren't you?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely cottoned on early, and you loved it. He was insufferable. Every time he come in the office, he'd be like, "Yeah, it's the best race of the season."
And he won it so easily. Like, this is a special horse. I mean, he won the John-Luc Lagardère in good style from unquestionably won the Breeders' Cup. Like, I just think his form lines aren't really that far off City of Troy, and we know he's absolutely going to be spot on for this day, and he's an out-and-out miler. So what's not to like?
Okay, City of Troy.
Well, I mean, he's the capacity to be a superstar, doesn't he? But I mean, I think there's probably more depth to this race than the market suggests.
Do you expect him to win? It's not. It's not a definite yes, then.
No, it's not a definite yes. I on the balance of probability, I think he possibly will win. But I think the market doesn't reflect the competitive nature of the race. I think there's some good horses in
Unbeaten horses in there. This is a proper Guineas, isn't it? I had a little chuckle about Ghostwriter because I went into Scarface yesterday and they were playing Guess the Price Wise, and which people like to do, right? And people thought you were going to go for Ghostwriter, which you told me.
Yeah, it was very close. It was very. I mean, I was tossing up between the two. At the end of the day, I thought Rosalion's just quicker. He's just a quicker horse, and that's what I think you're going to need to beat City of Troy. Just going to have to be faster than him.
And the only horse that's also priced up for the Guineas and the Derby that I've seen him with books is actually Ghostwriter as well. I think these all look like quick horses against him, potentially bar that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ghostwriter in the withouts as well. I think he's about 15-2 without the favourite. He's by Invincible Spirit. I mean, but he does have stamina on the dam side more than anything. But again, he's an unbeaten group-winning juvenile that for a trainer, Clive Cox is normally quite quietly. He's been quite bullish, I thought, in the build-up to this.
Won the Commonwealth Cup trial, didn't he? He's got Curtis, of course, in the Palace House.
Yeah.
It's going well for Clive.
So again, I thought he was a fascinating contender.
All right, what tip?
I mean, like I said, I think City of Troy will win, but I'll be backing Ghostwriter a bit as well.
Yeah, I think City of Troy wins. I think Rosalien, I think it's 2-horse race, actually, despite the fact it looks like a very, very good race. My worry about Rosalien is twofold. Why is he 6-1? That's a very big price.
I think that will come in.
Bookmakers are always begging you to back him each way at 6-1.
Surely that's the hype around the favourite more than anything else. I mean,
nothing else is really coming in apart from Ghostwriter a bit.
He was 3s at one point, wasn't he? Earlier in the week.
He was with 3 or 7-2.
So he's
yeah.
doubled
a
in
concern
price.
about the ground because that was a bit my concern.
We're actually backing
when there's a lot of
Hartem this
rain
morning.
around. That I was concerned that maybe the ground wouldn't be for him, but.
Well,
Again,
that's the Champagne Stakes, isn't it? That they're worried about the ground.
Exactly.
I guess but we don't really know. I mean, Richard Hannon's been as bullish as Aidan O'Brien almost, hasn't he?
The thing about the Hannons is, if you man for man, they've got a better record in the Guineas than Aidan O'Brien. I mean, Aidan O'Brien's won it many more times, both of them, but he's had many more runners and many more fancied runners.
But if you remember, their very good miler was Camford Cliffs, and he had to go to Ireland to win the Guineas. So he had to go to Ireland.
They've got lots
And
of
then he
horses
went-
that won it. Night of Thunder beat Kingman at the end
Night
of the
of
day.
Thunder was a brilliant horse, wasn't he?
Bilston Brook, do you remember 66-1? They've got a great record in this race.
Brook, yeah, you can't argue about Night of Thunder being a sire. He's not lucky.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah,
Line
he's got
of
a
the
nice
show so
profile for a
far.
sire.
I think these people are lucky. Yeah, horses are lucky
Yeah.
to be sires.
That's probably going to annoy some people in the breeding.
That's crazy. Blue Point is the other thing about Rosalien, isn't it?
Charlie would know more about Blue Point.
Blue Points.
Oh, this is his favourite horse by miles. Look at the shirt.
Quite. 2 winners over a mile out of a lot of trials. I think it's 2 out of 38.
Yeah, I mean, he's there's no doubt he's undoubtedly a sire of speed, isn't he? As in, I think, precocious juveniles. I mean, but he also, again, a bit like your point about Justify, he is. These are his first crop of 3-year-olds, so it's early days to be kind of saying he's not going to get horses that are going to stretch out. And a bit like I say, I'm not buying into that.
It's going to be a brilliant race.
The thing about Blue Point, as there are sprint sires that are very good, but they're normally bred very well as well. And Blue Point's an exceptionally well-bred horse by Shamadal. So there's a chance that he's every chance he was bred to stay a mile, wasn't he? So
I think it's the easy thing within the industry. He's champion first season sire. He has 2 Group 1 winners, and then everyone goes, they won't train on. Because it's a throwaway comment, isn't it? And then when that doesn't become true, people go, there's a chance that wouldn't happen. I just think it's an easy thing to say about a champion first season sire. And you've got to give it time.
I was going to say as well, Blue Point, he was winning like King Stands at the age of 5 as well. Like, he got better and better, didn't he?
But the numbers don't lie, do they?
Dam side of
it's not been good beyond a mile at all.
But look at the Dam side as well. Like, he's close to Ream 3, who's produced horses like Triple Time.
The Dam has produced a mile winner, but out of a stouter sire. So look, but I agree. If a horse stays 7 at 2, you just assume it's going to get a mile, don't you?
It's downhill. It's downhill at Newmarket. It's not the stiffest track.
Do you need to be an absolute strong stayer to definitely win this race?
Well, you might be if the run start of City Troy would worry you.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's the point you've got to make. Ryan Moore is surely going to try and make the run.
He doesn't hang around on
He's
City
going to
Troy.
He's going to go forward. He has to.
He's not going to do an August Road down and try and because that was horrible, wasn't it?
No way. And so
he's going to be ramping it up down into the dip.
He's going to be making it a test of stamina.
I think we're going to see something special. They're talking about distances. I'm not sure they go that far, but I wouldn't put you off the 8 to 11. Right, that is the Guineas done. We've still got 2 more races to go. We're going to whittle through them with speed, but tips coming in plenty, and the naps as well. I'd like to get some more social tips for the big one as well. City of Troy, is it a play? Is it LA? Let's move on though to the 410 because Real Dream looks like he's been an absolute steamer to me. Now going back out to 130. I saw 5-2 in a place when I was looking at these overnight. I think Jay for Sir Michael Stout and Ryan Moore.
Yeah, he is solid enough, but there's been a big move in this one, rather surprising to me. The bottom horse, Jeremiah, we were 25-1 on Thursday, and he's into single figures now. I think, I'd be slightly disappointed if a horse of his profile wins a big handicap on Guineas weekend, but he's definitely been supported to do so.
This is the first run since leaving Jim Gold, is it, for Ian Jardine? It's a horse that often catches the eye in its races and looked like an interesting comeback. That has been the steamer without question. This is the old firm, isn't it? Stout and Moore. Sahid Sahel.
Yeah, is it first time up this season? I think it is. Yeah, I'd be worried. It's not for me, Real Dream.
Right, okay. Take on with?
Well, I quite liked Youthful King.
You tipped him, I remember, on the All-Weathers, and I was with him that day.
I'm following him over a cliff.
Yeah, he's a horse that always runs on late in his races.
Well, he never used to.
Okay.
He used to be. He won at Windsor and Sandown, making all, and he sort of lost the plot at the stalls a bit.
You're hoping Luke Dace is listening to this.
Well, I don't. Sometimes you can't do that. I mean, if he's losing the plot at the stalls, he's going to be held up anyway. But the point about him is he's run twice now on the all-weather. He's been drawn in the coffin box last twice, and he's flown home in very good races.
Yeah.
In some of the best all-weather handicaps run this season. I would prefer him at 10, but he's up to 14 now in a bit. But I think he's in form, he's fit, and he's on a good mark. So he was my choice. I'm not sure I'd back him at 6-1 though. He was about double that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's a horse that I'm sort of on that project as well. Posty, Relentless Voyage is quite interesting with the fresh angle. He's been gelded, I think, hasn't he, for the Baldings?
Relentless Voyage might be, but that's not my tip anyway.
No, I'm trying to spread the field with you, man.
Pardon?
I'm trying to spread the field with you. There's fancied runners to talk about.
But I want to talk about my tip.
Well, fine. It's not
Let's
Relentless
hear it then,
Voyage.
Posty.
Pardon?
Let's hear it then, Matt.
Yeah, Maxi King I like in this.
You've slowly becoming the real postman here, by the way. I see your plan here.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You can have it, to be honest.
That's fine. He just sells blue points for
We'll
800.
start calling you Blue Point. To the point, though.
Yeah, Maxi King, I thought was impressive over ripping over Amana Quarter. I think going up to Amana half is going to be in his favour. 4-year-olds have a really good record in this race, and 7 starts. Only the 7 starts, maybe a fragile horse, but I think there's more to come up in trip.
Ammo Racing, David Egan. Rob, then, the real postman.
I found too right, mate. I found this race plenty hard. Relentless Voyager by default, because I just think he might have just a bit more class than the rest of these. They're basically handicappers. I mean, he was an eye-catching 4th in the was it the Fielden Stakes last year or the Newmarket Stakes last year over a mile 2, looking like he needed further. He obviously wasn't right in the King Edward on his file start. He was last to 6 days, had a long time off. If he is ready, I mean, he could be a cut above these, but he's been a bit weak in the market. It's not a race I'm ideally looking to play in, to be honest. But
being gelded as well, would that be a positive for you or not?
I did say that to you, actually. You obviously just were completely dismissive of me, weren't you?
I was kind of switching off to you.
All right, one bloke that never switches off. DJ, you sing the ball big in the William Hill Epic Boost Handicap.
Yeah, I thought Real Dream was the right favourite. I know he was bitterly disappointed in the Ebor last season, but I thought he should have won his final start at Doncaster. Just flew home for 3rd. I know what Tom was saying, that he hasn't had the run this season, but he won first time out last season at Kempton in a reasonably competitive handicap, I thought, and he was very well supported that day. I think he went out for an evens or in around that. I'd say he's still well handicapped. I think he's doing well to still have just 2 digits next to his rating. I think he'll end up being rated higher than that. He's still unexposed. Like, I think he's only had maybe 5 or 6 starts in handicaps, and we know the drill by now with these Michael Stout late maturers. They tend to get better the older they get, and I thought 130 was reasonably decent value
for the old firm. All right, that is Real Dream then. Okay, let's keep moving on then as we give you tips left, right and centre in these great races coming up. It's a brilliant betting card today, isn't it? And we go to the 4:45. I'm seeing the ball big here with one of these.
Go on then. Don't leave us hanging.
Well, I'm going to J-Mac first.
Oh, sorry.
They're all about
Do you want to assess all the contenders?
DJ
first?
doesn't get any of this, by the way. He doesn't get any of this on his shows. I feel like I'm being ambushed a little bit. Here, DJ, if we could, I'll tell you what, DJ, present.
Okay, Jamie, over to you for a show on the 4:45 at Newmarket, and be as quick as you can, because I have to go to Punchestown and do my other job, which is writing nonsense in the Racing Post.
That is a true professional.
I shall. Very quickly, quite enough betting heat. Chagrin is popular after his luckless run at Sandown last week, but one of the quieter betting heats of the day.
Yes, Chagrin.
Okay, over to you, Dave Orton, for your tip on the 4:45 at Newmarket.
And totally unprofessionally, I just talked over you there, DJ, as well. Chagrin is the tip here from former best pundit of the Racing Post, and
formerly known as
the postman that never was. He should have won it at Sandown. Mick Appleby has inherited this guy, and I think he'll win. Watch back that Sandown in the Members Club. He should have won, and I like the fact he's turning him out quickly. Handicap has given him a bit as well, so they're kind of. I think they're looking at a big race with this, and I don't know. I'm not saying he's big Ev's class, but I think he's going to be a bit of a poster boy. We've got a social up there apparently. I'm hearing in my ear as well. What have we got? We've got tips coming in. Socials. City of Troy bolts
Frizzy
up. It's an
Red.
old friend of ours. Frizzy Red. Good to see you still out there, Frizzy. Bolts up. City of Troy. I imagine a lot of you are thinking that out there. I think that about Chagrin. Tom.
Task Force. How is he 22 to 1? Says Alan.
Bred to win a Guineas. Frankel out of special duty. First time Windop, of course. We didn't talk about this in the Guineas.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Windop, but he's a big price, and he just. Rafe Beckett's horses, is he going to be?
They are a bit behind.
Is he going to be
Might have win
better?
the last 2 weeks.
Johnny Deneen told us a couple of weeks ago on the show.
Keep an eye out.
I mean, these things always change, don't they? You'll have 2 winners today, and we'll say,
I was going to say, you're very quickly informed.
It changed for the Gosdens.
But it also does have to be a concern, doesn't it? Like, as in, you'd rather he'd had 2 winners in the last.
If you're going to win a Guineas, yeah.
DJ's thinking
Chagrin we were on, weren't we?
Yeah.
Your favourite horse? Yeah, it was unlucky at Sandown. I thought Dapper Valley had a chance myself. Good run here. Ryan Moore on. Richard Hannon was very keen on him in his trainer file the other day. Just thought he might end up being one of those horses that goes and wins.
For the Staffords.
Yeah, goes and wins
I
at
agree.
York and
I agree.
places like that.
Sorry, Matt, I was interrupting you a bit. That was a bit rude of me.
No, not at
I mean, he won his side last time at Newmarket, first to 10 in a similar race here. He's up £2, but Ryan Moore's taken over. Good booking, unexposed. Plenty enough to like, I think, yeah.
All right. You like one big in this?
Moswat, yeah, as in won a Yarmouth Maiden, turned out quickly, finished 3rd in the listed race at Doncaster on his last start of the 2-year-old year. Thought he travelled like the best horse in that race, like led a furlong out, and heavy ground maybe wasn't suiting. Commonwealth Cup entry as well.
Well, I was just about to say, if there's a horse in here that could go to the next level, it might be him, I suppose.
And 92, I think, is workable.
Yeah. All right, DJ.
Nobody's mentioned the horse that I actually reasonably strongly fancy here. I like Completely Random. I think he's a real work in progress. Like, he won over kind of Christmas, and look, he had nothing really to beat that day, but he was still quite impressive, and he still looked to be learning his craft. And time before that, he was real eye-catching at Wolverhampton as well. Look, it's a massive jump from maidens or novice races at Wolverhampton to winning on Guineas Day at Newmarket in a reasonably competitive sprint. But I thought an opening mark of 84 was more than fair. And the Charlton team have started the season well. So yeah, I think he's a big player, Completely Random.
Yeah, Harry's had a really good start, hasn't he? But perhaps unsurprisingly, they're getting those winners out for him. All right, that's the 4:45. Is that the final race we're doing? We're looking at 5:15 as well. One more, yes, we are indeed. We're not going to shortchange you. This is William Hill sponsored weekend, of course. Let's go right through the card then. And the 5:15 coming up on the screen there. We can see it. Christian David, all 7-1 the field, J-Mac.
Yeah, wide open, but the 2 for money we've seen are Christian David and Harry Did. They're the best backed so far.
I liked one in here. Again, I'm just looking down. There's so many runners.
Were you seeing it big or not?
I wasn't seeing it that big. I saw it big first time out when Pressure's On ran on strongly under Ryan Moore. See, Ryan Moore is on Christian David here, isn't he? But Ross O'Ryan takes the ride. Watch it back at the Craven meeting when they weren't coming off the pace. He absolutely flew home down the near side. He'll do for me in a wide open race. Pressure's On.
Pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure is on, Tom.
Thought Gene Pitney had a chance. Pitney there for the thing. I thought he could go well, but the one I like is Harry Did for Harry Eustace, funnily enough. Thought he's caught the eye on a few runs on the all-weather, and I thought he was on a fair handicap mark.
Trainer I like, Harry Eustace. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Rob, you're feverishly looking at your phone.
Yeah, I found this race plenty hard. I come down on Christian David, sort of similar enough profile to Dapper Valley in the previous race. Pretty lightly raced, improving. Probably unlucky not to get up at Newbury last time.
Yeah, he looks solid.
Yeah, I think he does.
Solid.
I think he's probably a fair enough each way player.
Posty?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the real postman as well.
This is a deliverance.
£5 claimer, ridden the last twice. Ryan Moore up for the first time. Plenty of speed around him in Pure Form. Pitney. I thought, yeah, he's off the mark where he's going to be winning.
Yeah, this is littered with potential improvers, DJ, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Tom is on the money here. Like that kind of novice race at Kempton, they all finished in a bit of a heap. Auric won it, and it was one of them ones where any of them could have won it coming up kind of 100 yards on the line. But it's actually worked out well because The winner was beaten at Windsor but finished second at South Shore and was a little bit unlucky, got carried across the track. The third horse finished second next time. The fourth horse bolted up next time as well. So it's a kind of a race that's actually looked like they all finished in a heat, but obviously they're all pretty decent because the form has worked out well. And I'd say Harry did, like he's bred to be better on grass. Like he's out of Exceed and Excel, and everything in his pedigree suggests he'd be better on grass than he is in the all-weather. I thought Harry did was a little bit of value.
Okie dokie. Right, that is your full house of complimentary tips from the best panel you're going to see anywhere this Guineas weekend. A reminder, we are back tomorrow. We've got Kills tomorrow, haven't we, I think? And Maddie coming in to join us as well.
I know I'm here. I don't know.
when we do the postscript of City of Troy, whatever happens today, those of you who are seeing the ball big, we do have a small matter though, Jay. Is it 11:57 tonight of the Kentucky Derby? Frankie Dettori, of course, having the year of years, isn't he? Over there, he's drawn in the car park on what it could be a big afternoon at Newmarket for Coolmore. They've also got the Fav with William Hill, Sierra Leone.
Yeah, looks really good race. Obviously, a bit of British interest with the likes of Dettori, Ben Curtis riding. Looks a bit of a head-to-head between Fierceness and Sierra Leone. And obviously, it'll have repercussions with the Breeders' Cup Classic and City of Troy in that mix as well. So we'll have updated prices tomorrow morning.
There were gasps at Churchill Down when the draw came out for this. Sierra Leone in 2, and Fierceness, who's definitely the fastest or best horse in the race, some of the US judges will tell you. Don't always win Kentucky Derbies, of course. Has anyone looked at this race on the panel?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kentucky Derby, always do. All those Justify fans. Justify nearly won the Kentucky Oaks last night.
Just FYI, yeah.
Just FYI.
He's got really wet track last night, though.
It's drying all the time, but it should still be a bit sloppy, I think, is the word.
Yeah.
I don't understand sloppy and fast and all those sort of tracks.
Just make it a bit more testing.
Just makes. I thought Sierra Leone had a very good chance.
And the connections are happy with the rain, I think, because it has
And
slowed
I'm
it
not
down.
worried about stall 2. If you can win from stall 1, 3, 4 or 5, you can win from stall 2.
Weird, isn't it? The stall 2 is something of a coffin box, as they call it. Sierra Leone, 2.3 million, won the Bluegrass. The horse in second rear posed it for Qatar Racing. So 2 powerhouses. Could it be a big moment? You'll be staying up to watch it?
Yeah, I will. I enjoy watching it. I don't claim to be any sort of expert on American racing, but I enjoy
We've been blessed, haven't we, in this country? We've had Franklin see the stars, but also in America, we've had American Pharaoh and Justify in our lifetime. It's great. Could something else?
Ben Curtis with a good ride as well.
Yes. What's the outsider for Ben? I can't remember what it's called, the horse, but there's a lot.
Honor Marie.
Honor Marie. Thank you, Jay. And Ron Wood, who's our US Supremo, calls it in inverted commas the wise guy pick, which is, looking for the sly angles and all that sort of stuff. So that's 11:57 tonight. All right, okay. Domestic action and US covered. Who wants some free bets? Okay, it's the time that most of you have been waiting for. It's nap time, best bets of the week. And these are the boosted prices on screen. Poor Ben, the producer, hasn't slept all week since he got them wrong last week. But they are absolutely on the money. I'm looking for a David Jennings nap, and I know he's got a fly to punch us down again. DJ, what's the best bet of the weekend, please?
The best bet of the weekend for me, can I go, because I'm not part of this in-house thing here, because I didn't get a nap today, can I go Sunday?
Yeah, of course. Go for it, man.
I fancy Dance Sequence in the 1,000 Guineas. I thought we were extremely harsh on our run in the Nell Gwyn. If anything, she enhanced her reputation, if you ask me. I think she should be favourite, and I think she'll win the 1,000 Guineas. So Dance Sequence for me on Sunday.
Have you got blue pyjama silks, DJ, as well for Godolphin? You're really flying the Shadwell flag, aren't you, the darling?
I am, yeah. Noble Style, the first today. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a good day for Charlie.
All right, J-Mac, have we got a price on the 1,000 Guineas runner there for Charlie Appleby? I agree with everything DJ said, by the way.
I don't have a tan, but I'll quickly get it. What I will say is there's a good... DJ might not have a nap today, but there's a good chance that will be boosted tomorrow, Dance Sequence. We haven't quite finalised it.
Will be now after I tipped it. All you want.
Basically, DJ saying, yeah, well done, mate.
I'm amazed we're not wheeling you out. We're not wheeling you out tomorrow, DJ, but stick around. It might well be the boost. Okay, let's go down then. Bill Silvers for me. Ran a massive race on his return. I think he's going to love the ground at Goodwood, which has been horrible, by the way. What have they got to do to get some good ground at Goodwood? That will win, what is it, the 4:30 there, I think, for Qipco Logistics and Harry Eustace. Tom?
Yeah, Marcella. I thought it's a 3-year-old against the older horses in the 2:05 at Goodwood. But I thought she ran really nicely on her comeback on the all-weather. She stays well. She's got German pedigree. She loved the ground. Just thought getting nearly a stone from the older fillies, she might win it.
Yeah, all right. She watched that back again in the Members Club. Hits the line hard at Kempton last time. Punchestown, Robbie Wilders.
Yeah, I'm going to Punchestown. Got a Euro Orange story. I was hoping for a little bit more juice than that, but yeah, I think he's primed to go well here. This is a 4 mile. It's just short of 4 miles. You want someone that's going to stay really well, and this horse is a proper grinder. I mean, you'd remember he was sent off joint favourite for the Scottish National last year. It's like staying on 6th there. He needs a real test. And he's run quite eye-catchingly over short of this sort of season. He only started this season in the middle of March, but he's been running on softer ground and ideal. We should have conditions well in his favour. I'm not afraid at all of backing a sort of British horse in a handicap chase over there, obviously trained by Lucinda Russell. And he's now, I believe, £3 lower than when he was in the Scottish National last year. So I think he's got a really good chance.
Yeah, I felt sure they were going to train him for the Scottish National again. They seem to have changed tack slightly. Okay, Charlie.
Oswap for me in the 4:45. I think could be a horse with stakes aspirations beyond this handicap.
And you're boosted out to 8-1 though. These are all live, by the way, guys, on your app and your William Hill website as well. And Jamie McBride, to complete the panel bet of the day, you're going in the Palace House, as everyone else is.
Yep. Just quickly go back to Dan's sequence. We're currently 9-2 here, and my nap is Mitt Bar. Hopefully he's ready to beat the boosted horse, Beautiful Diamond.
There we are. There are your best bets. This is the Morning Post concluded. Hour and a half we gave you because we just had to go deep dive, didn't we, on that brilliant betting card. Enjoy it, everyone. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Join us back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Johnny Deneen will be replacing a rather tired-looking David Jennings. I imagine your Sunday that has been... Yeah, don't take it. You introduced yourself as looking knackered. You don't have it against me like these boys have as well. You're supposed to be on my side, DJ. What does your Sunday look like, DJ? I imagine it's pipe and slippers in the morning, a few kippers on the go, and then a lovely roast.
No, it's nappies, it's playground, it's even throwing the 2 kids at me going, you've been away all week, enjoying yourself at Punchestown when I'm minding the kids. So yeah, it'll be even harder work tomorrow, but we'll have a bit of crack with the kids tomorrow.
Try and get a Guinness somewhere, DJ, for goodness sake.
Do you reckon he's a Kippers man? Do you reckon he's a Kippers man?
Oh, who isn't a Kippers man?
Certainly not me and Tom. We're on the veggie side, man.
No, I had to get that in, didn't we? Had to get that in with you and your vegan cloak. All right, okay. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Of course you will, absolutely.
You certainly won't be seeing me, mate, because I'm off till Tuesday. So.
Well, Maddie takes that seat. I'm thrilled to say.
You can have it. As far as
good work today. Lovely to have you back in.
Yeah, lovely to be back, mate. Good to see the recovery going well as well, obviously.
Thank you very much. Good luck on the Boris bike.
Thank you very much.
Posty, another blue point in the pipeline today, is it, or something?
Not today.
Not today. Feet up?
Never feet up, no.
No, all right, okay. All right, well, it's great to have you with us as well, and we'll be back for Sunday service. But right now, loads out there. It's all about City of Troy, though, today. Enjoy it.